Good morning, Karen. Good morning, Steve. Thank you for having us today. And that is right now the million-dollar question. Basically, what we're seeing is a high degree of uncertainty, including a number of policies and the implementation path for those policies being a question mark over and over the country. In the short term, dollarization could be useful to tame inflation, skyrocket inflation. But the question is the social and overall effects of dollarizations in the long run in a country such as Argentina. Those could be extremely problematic.
Devaluation and the pain factor for locals is one thing that's been brought up, and some believe even with the fall that we've seen in the peso, it's still overvalued. If you chart it against the likes of the real out of Brazil and also against the Turkish lira, that you still see an overvaluation of the Argentine peso. What do you make of that argument that's still well and truly overvalued at this rate?
Well, that is exactly right. In technical terms, the peso could be still overvaluated, but the problem is that Argentina, compared to other emerging markets, has one of the highest pass-through in terms of prices of the entire group. So basically, the problem is that any devaluation, even the slightest one, like the one that we saw on Monday after the primary, is immediately implies a remarcation of prices even further than the devaluation rates, because basically agents on the ground are trying to shield from future rounds of devaluation and therefore for more inflation. So the problem is that if Argentina goes down that path at this stage with the current inflation rates, that is extremely risky in terms of just spiraling into a hyperinflation situation.
Mariano, what are the politics here? Because dollarization would be the opposite direction of where Argentina has been going in recent years. Even we're talking about buying a chunk of Chinese imports in yuan instead of dollars over the course of this year. So what sort of change does that mark politically in terms of some of the connections that Argentina has with the world economy?
Well, the fact that Argentina now is discussing this type of shock measures, extreme measures in the internal politics arena is kind of a result of 2 decades of different trial and error circumstances in which basically the country has not been able to find a sustainable neither policy or political formula to just generate growth. So now what we're seeing is kind of like a sudden correction in policy terms that is embodied in this case by candidate Javier Milei. But then again, the question is about feasibility. Once he's in office, if that occurs, we're still several rounds of the election ahead to us to go. What's the feasibility of these plans? What's the political applicability of these plans? So as of now, these are proposals, but uncertainty is very much real.